So many questions.
Yeah.
And we've got answers for you right now.
That's what they call it, a Q&A.
Yep. Well, hey everybody, I'm Bill.
And I'm Elizabeth. Live simple.
Live free.
We wanted to come for this video just because there's been so many questions that people have had about our move, about our house. And of course, that's why they call this a Q&A, because we're going to try to answer those questions.
She's brilliant, isn't she?
Yeah, the whole Q&A thing, right? So we thought that we'd go ahead and try to really answer them on a video, because a lot of them had more than one person wondering.
Yeah.
So
yeah, many other questions were asked multiple times.
Yep, yeah. We were trusting that everybody would really understand why we weren't really tiny house anymore. We really thought we'd live in that tiny house the rest of our life. But it's just turned out to be so necessary to take in Bill's dad. And it's been a real blessing with our son's help to be able to have this place. So I tell you, it's 900 square feet, and we're going to share it with Pop, but to me it feels like a mansion. So, but we've been incredibly impressed and blessed by your reactions and your support. It's been amazing. So you were saying the like one of the videos?
The tour video that we did right after we announced the new house, and then the next video was a tour before we started doing anything. That video now has 79,000 views on it.
It just amazes us.
Blew me
Wow.
away.
And I find it encouraging because it really helps me to realize that a lot of people are going to be very interested to continue to go along with us. Even though, we're still preppers, we're just small house preppers now instead of tiny house.
And that video with the tour that had 79,000 views, that brought in 600 new subscribers on that one video, and then the next video had another 400 new subscribers. So
welcome.
It has continued. So we have a whole lot of new people, and we really want to welcome you to our journey here.
Absolutely.
For you new subscribers, you don't know our past history of how we ended up living in the tiny house and all that. It's all there if you want to go back and watch it.
Oh, sure, sure. And this April, we would have been in there living in that little fixed-up RV for 5 years.
Yes, 5 years.
So we did very well in there for 5 years.
So we want to answer some of your questions, and these are in no particular order. I just wrote them down as they came in, and I didn't write down the name of who asked the question because many of them had 30 or 40 or 100 people ask the same question.
Yeah.
So I just wrote down the questions. So first one, what is the brand and the name of the color of the paints that we used?
Yeah, a lot of people have asked that. So we're very careful to have the correct names and the brand and stuff.
Yep. And so we got it at Lowe's, and it's Sherwin-Williams.
Yeah, we got the Sherwin-Williams paint. Now, this room that we're in right now, and the hall, the living room and all that is
Livable Green.
Livable Green.
Yep.
I just love that name. It's been very livable. But yeah, Livable Green.
And then the kitchen, which is yellow, is actually... Thank you, dear. Look like Russian. No,
He couldn't read it. What was wrong? It was upside down.
It's actually called Lemon Mint Leaf.
Yes.
It has just a little bit of green touch to it.
Yes. I wanted something that would be bright and cheerful. I've never used green or yellow before in a house, but I wanted bright and cheerful, and that little hint of green in it makes it go beautifully with our livable green. So that's what Lemon Mint Leaf.
Lemon Mint Leaf.
Yes.
Yep, from Sherwin-Williams.
Yeah.
And then the back bedrooms are all the same color. It's sort of a gray with a little touch of blue tint to them.
Well, and it's just the littlest hint of a cold purple. It's just
okay.
Yeah.
But it goes well with the blue carpet that we put in.
Very well, and it goes well with the blues and the green and the purples in my quilt.
Yeah. And that is called Orchid Bright.
Yes, Orchid Bright, the flower, and then what Brite, Orchid Bright.
Brite.
Yeah. And it's not really purple, but if you put purple up against it, it will sort of seem that way. But it's that beautiful iceberg color. I love that color so much. So yeah, that's the whole back bedrooms.
So then the next question was about the washer and dryer, the stackable washer and dryer that we bought.
Yeah.
That is a GE, and in fact, it's identical to the one, except it's a newer version.
Yeah.
It's identical to the one that we had in our tiny house travel trailer.
And we've left that one there
Yeah.
for the new owners.
Right, and we liked it so much that we bought another one.
Well,
And
it's been perfect.
we found when we bought it that even though the outside looks the same,
It's
the inside is huger.
it's even bigger, and it
It's
seems
bigger.
To be, seems to be working really well.
Yeah.
And it's pretty basic, but it's very much everything I need. I absolutely love it. Very convenient. So we left one down there, and that is a GE.
Right.
Yep. And it's G Stack. I don't know the exact name of it, but you can find it with G, and it was from Lowe's.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and it's the Stack.
The carpets, both the blue one in the bedroom and the one in the living room here, we bought both of those at Lowe's. We do a lot at Lowe's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I actually found that the carpet that's in the living room at Lowe's online, and I loved it. I thought it was so pretty, and I think that's almost been kind of subconsciously working on me with the colors, with the browns and this livable green.
We hadn't bought that carpet yet, but you had that in mind when you
Yes.
picked out the paint.
Yep, I did. I sat and thought and looked for a long time.
Yeah. Okay, quite a few people asked about the curtains. We have blinds here, and people were asking if we were going to have curtains. So, take it away, dear.
Oh yes, we're definitely going to have curtains. I do love these blinds. They were provided with the house, and they're very easy to work with. There's no strings. You just lift them up and down. But I'm definitely going to put up valances and swags. So we'll have curtains for the guys that don't know what that is. We're going to have the curtains across the top and then coming down the sides. I don't need to cover the whole window because the blinds are very efficient, but I really want to add just a hominess and some color with the curtains. So I'll be... Pop apparently doesn't want curtains in his room, but he's got perfectly nice blinds. But I'll be putting curtains all through here as soon as I can manage to do it.
Yep.
So
we had quite a few questions about our wood stove, our cubic mini wood stove.
Yes.
People were wondering if we were going to bring it with us. No, we are not. We are leaving it there in the trailer in
Once
the
again,
tiny house.
yeah, that's just an asset for that tiny
Right.
house. We left it there.
Another issue is that it only heats up to 450 square feet, and this is 900 square feet. So it would only heat maybe the living room and part of the kitchen. It wouldn't get into the back bedrooms. It wouldn't heat the whole house.
Right.
But we are definitely planning on a wood stove.
Yes.
Two reasons. One, because it saves a lot of cost in the winter to heat with wood, and we live very rural here, and there is free firewood. All I have to do is just go cut it. So we're definitely going to do that. But the main reason is because we are still preppers.
We're still preppers. That's
and we
right.
still want to be able to heat our house if the power goes out.
Yes. Yes.
But we'll still be buying a smaller stove, but it'll be a full-size stove that'll take a full-size log, so I don't have to cut into those tiny little 6-inch pieces. So that'll be very nice. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we're going to go with the smallest that we can probably find, because it's only heating 900 square feet, but we want it to use normal cordwood, the smallest that
Right,
can.
right.
I tell you what, that cubic mini wood stove has just been phenomenal, in our tiny house. And we do, another thing about the wood stove is we love the kind of heat. It's just very, very warming, very nice heat.
Right.
So we're going to get a wood stove.
So, speaking of heat, what kind of heat do we have in this house? A lot of people ask that. We have a heat pump,
Yeah.
which basically, we don't use them up north because it's too cold. But for
Yeah, they don't work up north.
for people who are up north and don't know what a heat pump is,
Right.
it's basically central air conditioning through the whole house, and in the winter, you run it backwards.
Yep.
When you run an air conditioner, it blows heat out the back, so we just run it backwards, and it blows the heat into the house. But it only works down to about, 20 degrees. I don't know the number. 25, 20 something like that. After that, then it has to kick in auxiliary heat, which is usually an electric coil inside of the furnace there.
Right.
So if you're up north where it's cold all the time, then, really cold, then the auxiliary heat is going to kick in all the time. Then you're basically just heating with electricity, and
Right.
that's expensive.
Right.
So basically, like anywhere south of the Mason-Dixon line, we start to use heat pumps because they're more efficient when it's not quite as cold. So we have a heat pump. So we have forced air heat and central forced air conditioning, and I'm very happy about that because
Yes. These summers.
these summers. Well, I'm glad to be down here where the winters are more mild, but I'll be honest, the summers are brutal, and I have a hard time with the heat. We lived here before, like 20 years ago. We spent 7 years right here, and I was a contractor at the time, and I had a very difficult time with the heat. So I'm very glad for the central air.
Yeah, the central air is really pretty vital, or at least some air conditioning,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And so, yeah, the heat pumps are efficient here, but you get much colder,
Right.
and they just don't work very well.
Right. So several people asked if we had a full basement or we were on a crawl space. It is a crawl space.
Yeah.
The downhill side, there's a door in it, and when you go in there, it's the ceiling or the bottom of the floor joists are probably about 5 feet. So you can actually walk in there.
But then it rapidly
Yeah,
gets-
and there's a section there, maybe 10 feet around, where it's 5 feet tall, and then after that, it very quickly goes up to about a foot,
yeah,
where it's a true crawl space.
yeah.
So we have a little bit of room in there, but not a whole lot.
And we know there's a little bit of an attic in here. We haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Okay, a lot of people asked about my father. Is he happy with the move?
Yeah.
Why haven't why haven't you seen him yet? Well, we covered this a little bit in our last video, but he hasn't moved with us yet.
Yeah.
As you see this video, now we're filming this in our house, but as you see the video, we are back up in our tiny house doing all the final arrangements.
Yeah, just getting everything
Getting
finalized.
completely cleared out, ready for the new owners. Then we're going to come back down here to Virginia again for another week or so. And then like I said, we talked about this in the last video, but we are actually going to the Bahamas, that we earned another trip with Thrive Life. So we have to go all the way back up to Newark, New Jersey, because that's where our tickets are,
We didn't realize we were going to be moving quite this soon.
to go to the Bahamas. And then as soon as we come back from the Bahamas, we land in Newark, we go and pick up Dad and bring him down here. So he'll be coming down here sometime around the late third week or the fourth week of January.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we're just going to go pick him up and bring him, but what we really are doing is we'll be completely cleared out of our own home. We'll go to where he's at, and we have somebody that we can stay with, and we'll be packing him up,
Right.
getting him packed up. And then he gets really tired on long trips, and so I want to have his room. One of the things we're going to be doing when we come back down here after this next little trip, when we come back down to the house, we're going to be focusing on getting his room really settled and ready for him, because we're going to take 2 days to get here, so it's not too long and hard of a haul for him.
Right. If he drives all day, he just gets worn out.
Right, and it can be such a long trip, so we're just gonna try to make it break it up a little bit, and then I want to know that when he gets here, even though he's going to want to put his things away, we're going to have a bed ready, chairs. I just want him to be able to rest.
Right.
So, but yeah, by the end of January, we should have him officially down here, and we'll be officially moved out.
But he's very much on board with the
Oh,
move.
yes,
He
yeah.
seems excited about it. He seems excited about having milder winters,
Yes.
and
yeah.
also about just being in a new place.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he seems really up for the idea.
Okay, is this a modular? I think only one person asked that, but no, it is not a modular. It's a stick built. It was built in 1971.
Okay.
So now, also, an awful lot of you, in talking about our house, said that it's all a matter of perspective.
Right. Right.
And for someone who lives in a 3,000 square foot home, moving into a 900 square foot home, it really is a tiny house.
Right.
So there's no problem with you still calling it tiny house prepper, because you still live in a tiny house. Well, from that perspective, yes, but technically a tiny house is a house that is 400 square feet or less.
Yeah.
And
And that's what people kind of expect.
And generally it's on wheels. Now, occasionally people will now build a tiny house that's on a permanent foundation, but generally it's on wheels.
Now that's not saying people can't live tiny. Ours wasn't a regular, but we're talking the little bitty houses on wheels that
Right.
became very popular.
Now,
Yeah.
why is it 400 square feet? Well, it's because anything under 400 square feet, and there are no building codes.
Yeah, it's
anything-
considered sort of a shed.
Anything over 400 square feet becomes a mobile home, and there's definite codes that you have to follow.
Right.
So people started building things less than 400 square feet because they didn't have to be concerned with codes. Now, why was that an issue? Well, have you seen some of these really cute, beautiful tiny houses, and they've got a loft bedroom, and the loft is, well, first of all, the the tiny house can't be too tall, or it can't legally drive down the highway. It
Well, yeah,
can't-
you can't go under bridges.
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah, it's got the
So-
same limit as a semi truck.
Right. So the loft bedroom generally has like a 5-foot ceiling,
At the peak.
and
Yeah.
that's not code. That's not legal to have a 5-foot ceiling in a bedroom. Also, many times the stairs that go up to them don't have a railing, which is against code, and they're too steep for code. So,
Or they're even a ladder.
it
Yeah.
just wouldn't pass code.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's dangerous, like it's going to burn down or something. It
No.
just people just started building them under 400 square feet, so they wouldn't have to deal with those issues.
Right.
And so, you know, yeah, if you're living in a 3,000 square foot home, ours seems like a tiny home. But when people are looking for information about a tiny house, and they see tiny house prepper, and they come here, it's going to be for them. It's our name will be clickbait
Yes, it feels like clickbait.
because
Right.
they're looking for something with these traditional, 400 or less square foot tiny houses, and we no longer live there
Right.
in one of those. Now ours technically wasn't a tiny house; it was a travel trailer, but it was 250 square feet. So
Yeah, I mean this whole thing started out when they were building these really cute little wooden houses, but the whole tiny house movement of like 400 square feet and under kind of a thing started to encompass all sorts of things from boats to cabins to a little renovated RV like we've had. It's just living tiny.
Yeah.
Little tiny apartments like in New York City.
yeah.
You know.
So instead of calling it tiny house, I prefer to call it tiny living because there's many ways you can live in under 400 square feet.
Absolutely, which we would have been there for 5 years come April,
Yeah.
and did fine there. So it's
So
it's,
that's why we changed our name, because we didn't want our channel name to be clickbait, because technically it's not a tiny house because it's 900 square feet, not 400 square feet.
well, and the thing of it is too is that we've already sometimes had people saying you guys don't really live there, that's in your backyard. But no, it's really true. It's really been our home. It's going to be 5 years next April. This whole change for us, we were going to live there the rest of our lives. This whole change for us, with wanting to take care of Bill's dad, and then with our son's help coming up with this neat little house, has been really a blessing. But we didn't know that was going to happen until pretty recently. And when I moved in that tiny house, I went from 2,500 square feet down to 250. So I know the contrast, how that can feel.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And many of you made comments about how much energy I have watching the move, watching me load all that stuff into the U-Haul, and then coming down here and turning in the y'all haul, and all of that. How much energy I had. What you didn't see through the magic of video editing is that I would go out into that cold and work for 20 minutes, and then I would go in and collapse in the recliner for a half hour.
It has been busy. We've both just had so many things we're trying to do. He's been fixing stuff and then painting down here and building that shed. And when we do have those few days in Bahamas, we're planning on like relaxing.
Yeah,
It's going to be good for a rest.
Do nothing except I'm not going snorkeling.
Yeah, well, that's relaxing.
Yeah. So, okay, a number of people when I built the shed down here. A number of people made comments about why I built such a small door. I'll never get my riding mower, my tractor in there. Well, first of all, this past summer my mower quit, and I just bought a brand new mower, and it's a self-propelled, walk-behind self-propelled push mower. I'm probably eventually going to have to get a tractor or a big riding mower because I have 1.3 acres to mow. But right now, I haven't even thought about that. That's way in the future. Right. And I know it's still possible to mow with my self-propelled mower. And I just needed to get that shed up, quite frankly. And I could have built a wider door. I put a regular house type door in it, and it's 36 inches, which is the widest you can get. And I could have built some kind of a homemade barn door in there to make it wider, but I just didn't want, the look of that. In order to go any wider in a regular house type door, I would have to go with a French door, a double door. Those things cost like $800 or something.
Yeah.
So at this point, I don't have a riding mower, though I will probably do that sometime in the future. I just needed to get the shed up. I didn't want to spend as much money, so I bought the regular standard size door. I think it was like $140 or something, and I put it in there. In a year or two, if I can manage somehow to get a riding mower, it's really no big deal to take that door out, cut a bigger opening, put a French door in there.
Right. Yeah, for right now, it just is going to be a great utility shed, tool shed, just basic shed for us.
Right, right. So my lawnmower fit in there, my snowblower fit in there, our
Yeah.
bicycles fit in there, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, and the last question, a lot of people, not so much a question as comments about Leo, that Leo's going to love it, Leo's going to own it. Yes, he's been down here with us for a week now, and he definitely owns it.
He is home as he can be.
Yeah, this is his new domain. So.
And it's nice because if we do have to be gone, like we're not going to take him back up with us when we go back up. He has handled the long rides in the truck very, very well, but it's not his favorite thing in the world. Mm-hmm. And so we've got family close enough, just to keep an eye, coming down and spend time with him, keep an eye on him, and so he will be very happy. I tell you what, I was trying to work on the computer today, and if that cat didn't try 14 times to see if he can come up and sit on the computer just to make sure I could pet him. Yeah. So he's filling his own oats pretty nicely, I think. He's got a big hall he can run up and down now, too.
Right.
He just,
right. You get a lot more exercise than he did in our little tiny house.
Well, he used to do a lot of, run through and up on the bed and back around, and he's just got a bigger area now to do it. Yeah. So he's very happy.
So that's basically it. Those are your questions that we've answered, and I hope we've covered them all. I wrote down every one that I saw.
Yeah, so. I added the Leo at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people have been asking about him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're very thankful, and we feel very blessed. We still want to live simple, live free. We don't want to get too elaborate in here. We want to, be able to settle things in and have it be pleasant and nice. Take good care of Dad, and work very hard, very quickly to even get out from under any mortgage we would have on this house.
Right.
And
yeah, we only owe a little bit on this, and we'll be concentrating on paying it off very, very quickly because we absolutely believe in being debt free, and that's our goal. And we're going to get there again very quickly,
as fast as we can.
And we will then remain debt free.
Yeah.
And live simple and not live extravagantly, so that we can actually afford to live extravagantly, right? I mean.
Yeah, well, I've been so thankful, honestly. The whole live simple thing is, of course, in not getting overwhelmed with possessions. We're going to be able to have this house fixed with some things that we love and get books out on a shelf again. I put pictures on the walls and have a table. I mean, that's kind of nice. I'm enjoying that whole thing. But the fact that we've been living simple and living free in terms of finances has been enabling us to be able to constantly make sure we're saving, so that even this move has been so feasible because we had a little bit of money to work with to be able to do it.
If we hadn't been living simple and living debt-free in the beginning,
yeah.
Not only would the move have been difficult, but we wouldn't have been able to do things like buy the new bed that we needed because the other bed stayed in the tiny house.
Yeah, it's all built in there.
Buy the new washer and dryer, buy this new TV that I showed you in the last video.
Right.
We wouldn't have been able, we've also found a few things at Goodwill, and a table, kitchen table and stuff like that.
I found some great, I'll show you guys.
We wouldn't have been able to do any of that if we hadn't been living simple and free.
And see, all of that, because we had gotten ourselves down to just that little RV, to our tiny house. When we moved in here, we did need a bed, and we didn't want to rip that washer dryer out of there. We wanted that to be an asset for that place, so we wanted to get one here. The TV we had was just too tiny.
It was about this big.
Well, I'm like, Bill says, we'll just use the binoculars, So that's a bigger TV than I thought we were going to get, but it was so reasonable that...
It's a 50-inch.
Right,
our old one was a 24-inch.
Right. So all of this is like, whoa, But oh my goodness, I've been able to find like a dresser that I needed, used, that's really nice, and my table and chairs I'm very excited about. And so, we're trying to spend where we have to, but also be careful where we can.
Right. Salvation Army and Goodwill.
Yeah, and you can find nice stuff, and it's old, but it's sturdy, and I like it. Yeah. I like it a lot. And Bill can fix things, and the shed ended up being a huge blessing, especially with our son's help, to get that up. So, the whole philosophy of trying to live as simply as you can, has kind of enabled us to be able to do this changeover and take Dad in with us. But we're not running up debt,
Right.
you know, and just gonna be a matter of just taking care of this little house. So anyway, so
Okay.
yes,
That's it.
yep, I think so. So I don't know where Leo is. I'd let him say goodbye to you, but you'll see him again soon.
Yeah.
So
There's more places in this house for him to hide.
yeah, oh yeah, he's having a ball with it.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Live simple.
Live free. You be blessed.
And Matt, thanks for your support. We love you guys. Okay,
We'll
bye
see you
bye.
next time.
Yeah, bye bye.